This is the Variety Sports Network, created for the fans, by the fans. Now to your host of tonight's show.
And welcome to the Week 2 edition here of Talking the Gridiron. We got a full house on deck. We got my man here. We got, of course, Jimmy Pilato from far end of the bench, my usual, with me along the side, shaking his head. And I know we'll get into that a little bit here. Crying, laughing, the main man Johnson with his Chris Collinsworth picture coming in the background over there. And, of course, we got Terrell, one of the main mans, one of the best out here in the business, from Rellism Sports, joining us tonight on a special edition here of Talking the Gridiron. Boys, this isn't week 1 anymore. We got a little thing. We got a little bit more to talk about, a little bit more drama here, a little bit more complaining for some of us as we go here. But, of course, I got to mention we are brought to you at by Variety Sports Network, Row 1 brand, in the Clutch Studios. Make sure you guys go check out their stuff over there. And we're glad to be here with, like I said here, Jimmy Pilato. How we doing, my friend?
It's 2 disappointing weeks in a row. It's what they always do. It's what they've done for the past 3 seasons. I thought we were over it, but that preseason, it just keeps rearing its ugly head because that was not good. It was better in the second half. It took us a full 6 quarters to score an offensive touchdown in this season with Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd, Joe Mixon, Joe Burrow, a revamped offensive line. There's not much good you can say about it other than the fact that it looked good down the stretch and, they got within 3. But it's the same week 1 and 2 Bengals that have been for the past 3 years. I just hope we're not looking up at 0-4 when they come back on Monday Night Football for Boomer Esiason's Ring of Fame night because they ruined A.J. Green Day. This was the day A.J. Green retired as a Bengal. He was the ruler of the jungle. Nah, they ruined that. That was bad.
Brian, how we doing, my friend? I saw you giving a little the 2-0 sign. Obviously, your team is off to a good start. Your initial thoughts there of the Niners and maybe some of the other things around the week 2 today.
I mean, people were hating on us starting the season, like that guy over there, the Redskins fan, and the Raiders fan over here.
I know. I still got to make up my 50 push-ups over there. And of course,
we're 2-0. We've taken out, and we're probably going to take out your Giants to start the season and go 3-0. But
well, I know you're feeling good. Obviously, probably I know down there in SoCal beating the Rams like you did, and of course, Terrell. It's an honor to have you on, my friend. Second time here on Talking the Gridiron. We got you on earlier this year. Now we've been on your show. I know Jimmy was on last Friday. I listened to your guys' episode of that. So now interested. Now get the post game kind of with you guys after hearing you guys discuss those comments with it. So what was your initial thoughts of week 2? I know your team came out with a big win as well in Jimmy's neck of the woods there.
Hey, I'm gonna tell you just like this. I was kind of excited over multiple things that my team looked like the old Redskins in the first half. But then it showed some moxie. Eric Bieniemy doing some things, came back, had a much-needed victory. Chase Young looked good. And everybody else's team lost except for my man, the main man, Brian Johnson. So I'm excited. That we could win. It looked okay. It looked all right.
Hey, you take a win, right? You're off to a 2-0 start. You take what you can get here. And we'll kind of touch on those games a little bit more here as we'll get you as we kind of get through the show here this evening here. Jimmy, like I said, we're not with you on a 7:30 start. And like Fat Boy Fadeaway today this morning, my power went full out. Please, power, stay on tonight. That would be nice. I'm doing the show, and then all of a sudden, I'm like, that's not good.
I know why, Darren. Because you didn't do the push-ups yet.
I know. I get a little delay. That's why I pushed. I said, hold on, pull the plug now. Pull the plug.
I'm ready to do my push-ups now.
I was trying to give you an out on Friday. I said, I bet you he does them on Sunday, and then apparently, no, we didn't get the push-up yet.
Why not tonight? Why not tonight then?
I could do it. I'll do it between shows.
Why not tonight?
All right. Maybe I will do it tonight. Maybe
your team look like shit. You might as well do them tonight and be like, take all your frustration out.
Okay, well, I'm going to move on like a good host does here. That's what I'm doing. Hey, before we kind of get into some of the games you guys touched already, we get to our games today. I thought, to me, going into this week, it was a big week for KC and it was a big week for Buffalo. Just in the sake of, we kind of were saying like, okay, these are the top teams this year. And if Buffalo would, I know it was your lock of the week, Terrell, but if Buffalo would have came out and lost to the Raiders and got 0-2, and obviously they were down 7-0, the Raiders had the ball, then Jimmy G does his thing, throws the pick from that point. And then Jimmy, I would say the Chiefs didn't necessarily say the prettiest of games, but when you only give up 9 points against a Jaguars team too, that has some pretty good weapons. I'd say that's pretty good. What are your thoughts there, Jimmy, of the Chiefs and Buffalo? And maybe like, are you still concerned about them in any way, I guess?
They still need to figure out their offense now that Bieniemy is gone and it's full Matt Nagy. There's something not connected, because the whole whirling dervish almost interception that Patrick Mahomes threw, that didn't happen when Bieniemy was trying to lead him and sharing those offensive coordinator duties. So I think that their offense still needs a lot of work. The good thing that you can say, and Terrell and I kind of talked about it on Friday, like Chris Jones held out and got a year's worth of contract for not that much money. When you look at his agents, makes sense that it didn't work out for him. But his presence was felt, and his presence was pretty much what won them the game. He did the same thing that he did in the Super Bowl. He did the same thing Aaron Donald did to the Bengals the year before. You are able to disrupt in the center of the pocket, going down the stretch in a 2-minute drill. That's going to kill any quarterback, even a guy that's as talented as Trevor Lawrence. So I think that's really what you can take away from the Chiefs. The Bills, definitely their offense looked back, but you have to skew that, because no offense, but the Raiders defense isn't like a juggernaut.
Oh my gosh, it was absolutely pathetic.
It wasn't the Jets defense out there smacking Josh Allen in the mouth.
It was literally one of the worst front seven performances I could say. I mean, they were getting beat up off the ball every second there. That's a great call there. Terrell, what do you think with that? Do you have any concerns with Buffalo or KC? Any of those teams kind of like worry you a little bit more? Yeah.
Yeah, Buffalo still looks a little suspect, because we keep waiting for this James Cook moment to happen where he just takes over like Breece Hall did last year, or like other running backs or wide receivers have done. Like, they're ready to make a statement. You know what I mean? I still keep looking at James Cook like, okay, is this going to be finally the year? And then I see Latavius Murray out here vulturing TD after TD after TD. So we don't know what's going on. And Josh Allen's still flipping over people trying to get in. So I feel like they don't trust him still. So that part still worries me. Von Miller's not there. And the Raiders were hanging around for a minute. They were hanging around
for a minute.
Oh, come on. Don't give Jimmy any credit right there. Jimmy didn't do shit the whole game.
Can we put the last initial with this, please? Because I feel attacked right now. I know that's who we're talking about, but can we say Jimmy G when we're referring to the guy who dates porn stars out in Vegas?
Yeah,
I'm a teacher. Jimmy, I can't be associated with that. Jimmy didn't do anything. He just sat around all Sunday.
This is Jimmy G. This is not Jimmy the Bengals fan, right? That's not. So Buffalo's your concern. I have always wondered with Buffalo, like out of their offenses, like their offense is kind of vanilla at times a little bit, right? And then like I know they have this the play option stuff, but if Allen's not really running off of that, sometimes it doesn't look like they're as dynamic. And even in that game, I was able to watch most of it. He missed a lot of guys too in that game. Like early on, he had some touchdowns that he didn't make, and they had to settle for a field goal and stuff. So I don't know. That's what I think. Brian, would you be more concerned about KC or Buffalo long term here?
I'd be concerned more with KC because
really,
because I mean, if they get the offense rolling, it's just tough to beat. I mean, you don't know who you're gonna beat. You got Kelsey. You got.
He was back today.
Yeah,
he got a touchdown there. So
yeah, exactly.
I think. No, I hear you. I think the Chiefs are. I think they're still a team that most people.
I think they have a decent defense that can stop you on play. So
they're still in the driver's seat in the AFC West because the Broncos lost, the Chargers lost, the Chiefs are the only team that won.
Chris Evans looked fat. Chris Evans looked fat and still made play after play after play. He had no training camp, nothing. 2 days he was in there, and fat Chris Evans is making plays. So as we keep going, he's going to get better. As Kelsey gets healthier, he's going to get better. Kansas City's definitely not worried about nothing. The Bills, he was kind of suspect, bro.
No, there were. I'm assuming you meant Chris Jones, or is it Chris Evans that you're referring to? Is it?
I just want to say right now, like people were overhyping Jimmy after 1 week, but
It's one loss, Johnson. It's
I'm
one
just
loss.
saying,
Not the end of the world.
when he goes against a great quarterback, he folds like a paper napkin in a windy day.
Johnson, I can appreciate you doing it. Chris Evans is an actor. He is a very good actor as well. Out there. Let's go to where you were at, Jimmy, in Denver today. The Broncos lose on they get the Hail Mary, so you're feeling good there for a little bit, and then all of a sudden you can't get the 2-point conversion. I didn't think it was a penalty. I mean, it was close. I mean, I don't know. I went to call that one. I know, like, that was something. It was.
You wouldn't have called that one?
I don't know. I just feel like cornerbacks get no love. I mean, I don't know. I just feel like that's.
Yeah, but did you see the one they called on Pat Surtain earlier in the corner?
No,
in the quarter?
So
if you're going to call it that way in that situation, why wouldn't you call it that way in the end of the game situation? Now, I think that the Broncos would have bowled over and won in overtime? I don't know. The way that game was going in the second half, they were damn lucky to be in a position to throw a Hail Mary to even tie the game. But I still, if you're going to call those penalties in other parts of the game, then they have to be called that way throughout. If it's the same thing that I feel with roughing the passer. If one guy gets called for it and the other team doesn't, that's not what we are looking for as fans. Like, make it the same, because these guys are all in the same league. Let's put the playing field out there so that everybody has the same chance. Like, give every credit, because Sam Howell
was up like 20 points, dude.
I get it. Yeah.
Blame it on the last little play.
I'm not blaming it on that last little play, but that play, they should have gotten one more shot. They get one more shot, and then they're in overtime, because that was pass interference. He got there before the ball.
What about the Seattle game? That was pass interference, and they called it for the Lions. I mean,
I'll agree with you, Jimmy, in the sense I'm always frustrated with the referees calling on cornerback. It's never consistent. I mean, like, it never, like, I'm going to tell you, like, that's my big, like, I'll be like, how is that a penalty? But then this time, like, I'm with you guys all the time. That's always my biggest issue with the NFL is, like, the cornerback play. They don't get to do anything, I feel like, anymore. And then when they do, it's never like, oh, they got away with it. And it's like, well, that should be allowed more. They should be able to do those things a little bit more, like, to a certain extent. So I don't know, but what did you think? What did you make of the Broncos going down to an 0-2 start, though, Jimmy? I want to get your thoughts on that with Sean Payton coming in. They're off to an 0-2 start. What do you think? What are you kind of feeling with that right now with the Broncos going into a big game next week? Not shocking, or Wilson looks better.
You can feel the difference, and the fact that we scored 24 points because we could not get past 16 last season should all be – that's all pluses in the box. But you have way more minuses because you gave up a 21-3 lead, 24-3, whichever one it was before the Redskins started their comeback. Like, that's – you should never have that happen to you. If you are truly that good of a head coach, you should not put your team in that situation where you're all of a sudden looking up and you're down. Like, my mom and my girlfriend went to the mall in the middle of the game. They came back. They're like, oh, shit, they're losing? I was like, yeah. They not only did they give up the lead, now they gave up like 2 touchdowns on top of it. They had to have their own comeback, make a 2-point conversion. But, no, there is still so much that has to be undone. And I don't know if it's all last season. I don't know if it's still like a disconnect between Sean Payton's regime and, like, he's getting good results. So you can't say that he's not working in the right direction. It was always going to be a process. I didn't expect it to be 0-2. I thought, just like Vegas did, the Broncos were favorites. They're at home. It's tough to play in Denver in September. It's not like it's out of the question. And nobody expected Sam Howell to turn into a man just in the second half. Like, especially after the first half that he played. And last week against Arizona, it wasn't like he was all that great, but damn, he stepped up in the right moment.
Yeah. No, and your guy, Terrell, I'm kind of curious. Did you have yourself a video with that Hail Mary? Like, no! And that was like thrown 3 yards short for it to get tipped back like that, too.
I thought we had already won the game. I was already past that. As a Redskin fan, you would never think that, but I was already past that. I'm on to the next, baby. I thought it was over. You know what I mean? So it is.
What do you think of Howell? Do you have any faith in him, or is he just kind of like a stopgap for this year?
I'll tell you what. I was at about out of 10. I was maybe a 4.
Okay.
I might be about a 6.5 right now because he has that certain moxie about him, and he has some athleticism. He can make a run here and there to get what he needs to get, and he's involving the tight end. And with our new offensive coach involving the tight end, Samuel's doing different things. I like it.
Yeah, he's too. His college career, he was always a lot of these guys. Like when we're talking about the two quarterbacks playing tonight in Sunday Night Football, Tua and Mac Jones, they were elevated because of the rosters around him. Sam Howell at UNC was the best player on the team. If he didn't have a good game, his team didn't have a good game. So I think that gives you. It's not like the best thing in the world, and who knows if it's going to make him work out. But you have the experience. Like if Sam Howell doesn't play well, the Redskins are going to struggle. Just like how at UNC, if he didn't play well, the Tar Heels struggled. They won games that they shouldn't have won. They lost games that they shouldn't have lost because of how Sam Howell played.
Now, to be fair, he did have Michael Carter for the Jets and Javonte Williams for Denver on the team. But that just shows you what he's saying. Sam Howell might not be no scrub like Purdy. No offense, Brian. No offense.
I think he kind of reminds me of Jason Campbell a little bit. Like,
don't do that. Don't do that.
A little bit.
I'm just saying. I'm straight up saying that Sean Payton should have went to the Chargers and should have been their head coach because
waited a little bit longer.
Like I said, all 0-2.
Yeah,
hey, both of them are 0-2. Is that why?
Hey, do you guys think Jackson's going to get suspended on that hit? Just real quick, yes or no? Like he's now because he got fined last week for the Myers one. Then he got that one. You think he's suspended next week? Yeah.
It was bad. Yeah. It was very, very poor. That
left
was
his feet.
Yeah, everything that they tell you not to do. Don't jump off of both feet. Don't aim for their head. Only he didn't make contact with his helmet. He just swung his shoulder, and that was ugly.
Those hits are like, ugh. And the fact that that's what like those 1970s guys, right, man? Like you're just like it's just impressive.
It's funny because when I watch clips from today's game and I see that, I'm like, oh, that sucks. That's so bad. But when I watch Night Train Lane clothesline some poor tight end in the 1950s, I'm like, that's awesome. That's the best. It's like he just literally killed a guy. That guy probably can't walk anymore.
That's right. On Talking the Gridiron, Night Train. You get that out there. Night Train Lane out there. We're bringing all the info out here. Brian
or Sean Taylor taking out a punter during the
that was the best, man. That was the best.
During a Pro Bowl game.
That's still one of my favorite video clips.
He hit that punter so hard that punter wanted to get up and fight Sean Taylor. I was like, you better somebody better get in between that right now.
It was Sean Taylor.
That video is great. Brian, what do you think of the Seahawks real quick here? They end up winning. That was my other game of the day. The Lions, I thought they were going to pull it out. Thought they were going to go up 2-0. Seahawks show a little resilience. They get the pick on Goff, who has the tendency sometimes to do that at moments. What do you make of the Seahawks kind of getting a big win? They couldn't fall to 0-2 at this point. You think they're back at all? Oh, maybe you froze Johnson there.
No, I mean, are you talking to me or talking to
Yeah, I'm talking to you. I'm talking to you.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I just feel like they're kind of at a medium point at this point. I don't see them as a threat to our 49ers or anything.
Yeah, and with Geno, though, that's the thing I was impressed with is that he was able to at least make some plays that I thought maybe he was going to be regressing a little bit more this year. And they end up getting 37 points. He leads a game-winning drive there, Jimmy, to win the game. I thought it was a pretty impressive performance by the Seahawks to avoid going 0-2 against the Lions on the road there.
They had to show some resilience, too, because the Lions got out to a hot start. They had the lead. I would say it's good for the Seahawks because it puts you back on where everybody expects you to be. I don't know if anybody really picked them to beat San Francisco, but you can still make the playoff. Yeah, I know you did, Terrell. We talked about that. But I still think you're going to get two teams in the playoffs in the NFC out of the NFC West. They have the ability. Like the Rams have not looked as bad as they did the year before. And the Seahawks, if they can continue, like if Geno Smith doesn't do what Geno Smith did in week 1, the Seahawks are a good enough team. They have a good enough roster to be able to win. Also, the Lions, it's disappointing, but the good thing is the Falcons somehow found a way to beat the Packers by 1, and the Bears still suck. And the Vikings lost on Thursday and they covered the spread, but they got their asses kicked. So as bad as it is, you're still sitting number 2 in the division. You still have, I think you might be actually number 1, depending on how it works out with the scheduling and the Lions, but you're in a good spot. You just have to make sure that this shit doesn't happen anymore. I thought we were over this last year with the Lions. I thought you learned how to win. You learned how to not lose. Did we learn how to win? It doesn't. If you're giving up that much of a lead and you lose 37-31 in overtime, that scares me.
At home.
Go ahead.
At home. This was statement weekend. This was statement weekend for a lot of teams. Detroit, after you beat the defending Super Bowl champions, you lay an egg at home, which you could have been 2-0. Nobody else is 2-0. The Vikings are 0-2. The Bears are going to be the Bears. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This was an opportunity. Green Bay laid an egg against the Falcons. I don't even know how the Falcons even scored points out of your Falcon mind. Desmond Ridder still sucks. But he threw it to my wide receiver finally. So I'm happy, but it's crazy. Both divisions are going to be nuts all year.
Why aren't you running the ball to Bijan Robinson more? That's what I'm saying.
Because they picked up David Montgomery. That's literally on that opening day. That opening night game, they said he picked up David Montgomery, so Bijan's not the full-time starter. I was like, what the hell are we?
Wrong team, dude. It's the wrong team again, dude.
No, Montgomery's for.
It's the wrong team.
Okay. Yes, I'm thinking of Gibbs. Okay.
Algier, son.
All right.
Algier.
All right.
You got it. That's what happened.
I'm going to sit out. I'm going to take a timeout.
Trivia Terrell we got over here, Jimmy. You got to watch out for Trivia Terrell.
I just like to call it like I see it. Which is,
hey, the other thing with that.
On my show, he's like, Tunyon is going to be the greatest Green Bay tight end.
Oh, that was funny. I like that. I haven't heard that name in a while. The Vikings always had some funny tight end names, like very solid. Like you guys that must have they always had some. I forget the other guy too, Fashlenko or something like that too. Was the other tight end? I always had a funny name. Titans, they get the win here against the Chargers. Jimmy, we said that you mentioned that the Chargers and how the Chiefs are okay because them being 0-2 in the division, the Chargers are going to Charger, I guess, right? Like there's no other way to put this. I mean, this is a game that if you're a real team, I know the Titans are fighting back and they have some pride in the way they play as well. But man, 0-2. I mean, I know I guess their coaches. We'll see if he can make it through halfway here at this pace.
I don't have much faith in him. I thought his seat was hot going into the season, and I'm glad the Titans won because I picked him in. We do my mom's office pool as a family, so I picked them, and I was one of the few that picked them to beat the Chargers. I've seen too many times where the Chargers figure out ways to lose games that they should win, and last week was an example. This week is an example. All last season into the playoffs. I mean, goddamn, we were talking about a team who gave up one of the biggest comebacks in postseason history. I'm over it. I'm over giving them the credit that they should have. I don't think that they care, honestly. I think that's, everybody says it about teams that play in San Diego. You're too close to the beach. You have too much other stuff going on. Like, you don't have to care. You don't have to live and die by winning. And I think they're all just content with being an 8-8 and just kind of there, just kind of hanging around.
Brian brought that point about Sean Payton going to the Chargers, and you kind of feel like that's kind of where this might be headed. Terrell's them getting a new coach with it at some point here soon. But I thought the Titans, they showed a little resilience. I thought they for sure were going to lose this game and go to 0-2. And I win a game in overtime against the Chargers that you have to keep pace a little bit with offensively after they looked just awful last week offensively. I don't know. I thought it was a decent win for the Titans.
It's a great win for the Titans.
Yeah.
They followed their head coach. Like Jimmy was talking about the Chargers head coach, he should have been fired already. The Titans head coach is going to make the best out of nothing. He demands that. He expects that. And that's what it's all about. And like D-Hop said, I mean, you got a guy like Derrick Henry back there. I mean, he's one of them dudes in the league. And D-Hop said, hey, there's all kinds of dogs on the field, but I'm a coyote. Coyotes control the dogs. And when you got that kind of attitude in the locker room, with these kind of people, imagine D-Hop and the coach and Derrick Henry going up to anybody in that locker room. They're going to expect the best and demand the best. And that's the difference between the Chargers. Like you said, they're at the beach. They sunbathing. They chilling. They're doing whatever they want to do. You're absolutely right, man.
And it's really disappointing. I mean, they're off. I mean, Eckler, right? The receivers, like your tight end's not bad. Like they have Bosa, they have Matt. Like you have these pieces. You have James as their safety. I mean, you think they'd be there to be something there, and that kind of falls into my 0-2 category here. Teams that fall 0-2, you are in bad shape. I know your Bengals proved this wrong last year.
Can I go off on the Chargers right now?
Yeah, go ahead.
I lived in San Diego. I lived in San Diego for 4 years. I'm like, shame on you, Chargers. Shame on you. I dealt with Phillip Rivers. I dealt with all the shit from you. And you couldn't beat the Patriots when you needed to. And it's like, shame on you for tricking me into thinking you were good. And you're terrible, man. You can't get the fucking job done. You're terrible.
Brian, I think you speak very, very well for a lot of Chargers fans out there. That Patriots loss, I think, haunts a lot of people because a lot of us hated the Patriots back then too. We wanted them to win that game. I did not want the Patriots to win that one on the road.
I mean, Marty Schottenheimer. You had
come on, Marty, pass the ball once in a while.
Yeah, I mean, you had LaDainian Tomlinson. He was the MVP of the league. You're 14-2, and you couldn't get the job done. Like, come on, man. What the hell's wrong with your organization?
And we're going to talk about the 49ers after these next 2 or 3 years. Oh, my God. Y'all are 14-2 and 3, and y'all never won no Super Bowl with Brock Purdy.
They always get hurt, Terrell. They're just waiting for everybody to start getting hurt. Then they'll be like, oh, my God, we didn't have a quarterback.
Don't start with that, man. Hey, at least we're 2-0, motherfucker.
Hey, 2-0, motherfucker. Hey, we're 2-0, motherfucker. We 2-0.
He is 2-0, Brian. One thing I know about Johnson, if he's 2-0, he's gonna feel good. If he's 0-2, it's gonna.
We're
gonna play somebody. When do you play a true NFL game? You can scheduling. Brian, you guys have been playing FCS level competition. When's the D1 schedule start?
And they play the Giants next week, Jimmy. That's still.
Yeah, I know. That's exactly. So they're playing the third FCS opponent to start off the season. Nobody gets 3 tune-up games a year unless you're Ohio State. You don't get 3 tune-up games a year.
0-2 from.
Can I get to Jimmy 0-2?
Can I say my 0-2 team?
Yes, go ahead.
You have Burrow. You have a guy who's a franchise quarterback. You have
0-2 to get to the Super Bowl or to win the Super Bowl. It's gonna be the Bengals, just like last year, just like the year before. Cool Joe's gonna be out there with his little coat on, like, yo, everybody, RELAX. Aaron Rodgers, aka relax. We coming back. He's getting healthier each week, and that offensive line is gelling together. That defense is already playing better than I thought they would. And you think they're gonna stop Jamar Chase all year? Come on, bro. We know better than that.
Burrow, Chase, Higgins. You got all this talent, and you're 0-2, man.
Dude, like, you got all the talent, and you ain't got no Super Bowl rings.
More excuse.
Jimmy, I want to ask
what excuse have I given? I've said that the Bengals have lost both their games. I said that the Bengals didn't play well enough to win either of their games. I haven't made a single excuse for it. I'm just saying, like Terrell just said, they've done it for the past 2 years. I didn't expect the Super Bowl run the first year. I didn't expect a Super Bowl run last year. But when you get a 10-game win streak in the middle of your season, you start to gel as a team. It gets better. So it will get better. It got better today. In the second half, the Ravens, if we're going to talk about anything, the Ravens should have been able to put the Bengals out of their misery because we didn't score for 6 quarters. So you should have been able to just knock us out of the park. Yeah, we hung around. Logan Wilson's flying around on defense, making every play imaginable, jumping on fumbles. Sam Hubbard, Trey Hendrickson, they're getting after Lamar Jackson, making him scared. I think the one area where you can truly look at the Bengals and say, they downgraded from last season is the safety position because we lost Jesse Bates, we lost Von Bell. Those are 2 huge pieces, and Scott and Dax Hill, they're doing what they can, but, as of right now, they suck.
2-0.
Brian loves to run his mouth, Jimmy. I'm sorry about that.
I know.
You have to deal with that.
That's fine. And then when we win the AFC Championship this year and he has no quarterback in the NFC Championship.
Oh, wow.
Oh, no, Phillip Rivers is going to get called. You know what Kyle Shanahan was going to do? Kyle Shanahan called Phillip Rivers and said, hey, if we can somehow get past this week, can you please come and play quarterback in the Super Bowl?
Yes, he did.
But right now, Purdy's outplaying Burrow. What does that say?
True.
You have a franchise quarterback.
That is true.
And Purdy's outplaying.
What it needs is that Joe Burrow gets to sleep on nicer sheets. He gets to worry about his car payment less. He doesn't have to scrounge paycheck to paycheck. I'm glad he's probably going to get another haircut. If I'm going to be honest with you, that's what's going to happen for Joe Burrow.
Were you a little worried with his ankle thing? He was limping quite a bit there at the edge. Like he was.
I'm nervous anytime he has to move, but he is mobile enough to like get around. And today, even on that bum calf, like he jumped over some guy going at his feet. Like he's trying to extend the plays. It's just not all there. It's just not clicking right now. And they have no rhythm. They haven't been able to get into a rhythm. Obviously, they didn't score. It was getting there, and T showing up was huge because T should be your red zone target. T should be making his money because he has 15 red zone touchdowns this season. So get him involved in the right situations. Get Boyd and Chase. God damn it, run the football because Joe Mixon ran the ball so well today. And we just wouldn't do it. We would run it 2 times in a row, and then we'd be like, oh, let's throw 3 screens to Jamar Chase.
Follow the money. You bought Kansas City's offensive lineman. Follow the money, Joe Mixon. I agree, baby.
It's all there. They just have to stop getting in their own way, and I feel like things will look so much different. But how long is that going to take?
Winning the championship this year.
It is, and they were.
We're winning the whole damn thing this year, and nobody's going to stop us.
We'll see. We'll see. There's a long ways to go. Jimmy, I noticed that your guys' offense, too, I don't know if you ever get frustrated, maybe not with it. You guys throw a ton of fades. You guys throw a ton of it. And it probably works out.
Chase and T. Higgins.
I know. Today I was like, damn, they threw a ton of fades. Like, maybe instead of running the ball on a few of those, maybe that's where I was thinking with it. Like, but who knows? That's just the way the Bengals do their offense. But just watching it today, I did notice that was like, so they did throw a lot of deep balls like that with it. Hey, the question of the week here. Last thing on that is the Ravens. The Ravens, like you said, I'm glad you brought that up where they did look a little bit sluggish there in the second half because, they everything about them is sometimes difficult at moments. And I think the Bengals just had that breakdown on that big run when they cut it down. That was kind of the killer at that point going forward with it.
And the interception going into the end zone.
Yeah, that didn't help at all.
I had to change my notes. I made my notes for my show earlier. I was like, we have not scored in 5 quarters because they were driving down, and then all of a sudden pick on the goal line. I'm like, I'm going to be so mad during this episode.
And that was the killer of that game. That was a huge swing play there. Hey, question of the week here brought to you by Row One Brands. We're here about a little bit past the halfway point of the show here. Appreciate anybody that's been able to comment in. Tyler there, shouting out Terrell there. Brian feeling his Niners right now. Bengals 0-2. My Raiders 1-1. We got Terrell's Commanders 2-0 with it. Question of the week here brought to you. As I bring in, we got Nico here, a rare appearance. Nico coming in. Wow.
Nico, thank you for taking some of the heat off of me. Thank you.
You're welcome, Terrell. Congratulations. I'm glad your sorry excuse of a franchise and your lonely fandomness over there could get a good win over my team that needs to be tanking right now.
Let's ride, baby. Let's ride.
We got Nico in from far end of the bench. The other part here of the show here, taking a little heat off of Jimmy, the other 0-2 squad here. As we were talking 0-2 in your Broncos.
Except I'm happy to be 0-2. That's the difference. Jimmy, all hell's breaking loose. I'm happy to be 0-2. I want to go 0-17, baby. Give me Caleb Williams or Shedeur Sanders. I'm all aboard. Get this motherfucker out of town.
Yeah, exactly. Caleb Williams said he wouldn't go to Arizona, but if you guys go 0-17, then he would come to you guys.
They're not going to go 0-17 because they still got to play the Raiders another time.
Come on.
Yeah, and then Josh McDaniels is going to get fired. Josh McDaniels, Mark Davis is going to finally stand up to him and say, you know what? I don't want you to come back on Monday. I always say see you Monday, but I don't want you to come back. And then he's going to turn around and he's like, just when I thought you couldn't get any stupider.
That's how I feel every week putting on a Broncos gear. Just doing the clown face. Joaquin Phoenix, just putting on my Broncos colors with a clown sad face every single week, showing up, preparing to be the biggest embarrassment in the NFL every single week. Nothing like it. Just for those keeping track, the Denver Nuggets start the season October 24th. So we're already at that point. We're already at that point.
Hey, I got my guy here, Chris, tuned in from New York. You were in New York recently. I know I was listening to your guys' pod there, Far to the Bench. You guys were there for the U.S. Open there too. So, Chris, appreciate you tuning in here with it. Very, very contentious episode. Well, what you got? You got a couple beverages, a couple losses, couple wins. It happens. It happens, Tyler. It happens. Nico, real quick, you got to get your opinion then. If you're jumping on here with the Broncos with it real quick, Terrell's here with his team here. Your team loses to him in heartbreak fashion. What do you got going on? How are you feeling right now?
Well, like I said, I'm already looking forward to basketball season at this point.
How about just the game? Don't give me the season, just the game today. Because you guys were up 21-3. You probably weren't thinking basketball season then.
No, I definitely wasn't, because first of all, look, I didn't get to watch the game last week because I was working, so I didn't watch the second game last week. So the first quarter of football I watched this year was great. I was like, am I having fun? Is this what fun looks like? Like, wait, what am I like? Is this what football should look like? Like, what am I looking at? And then Russell Wilson turns into Russell Wilson, and then this defense can't stop a damn fly on the wall. Like it was honestly hilarious, because I was cheering, having a great time, and then I was like, I saw them score before the half. I was like, yep, we've already lost. I was like, this is over. This is over. I full honesty with you, I was at the game and I left before the Hail Mary happened. I could not sit and watch that team for any more. When it was 10 minutes, when we were down by 10, it was like a minute 50 left on the clock. I left. I walked out of my seat. And Jimmy knows I barely ever leave early. I will stand true and die on a damn sword, unfortunately. And this week I was just like, nope, I can't. I really can't. Look, I'm happy that they lost and didn't convert the 2-point conversion, because I would have been very pissed if I left and missed that. So, like I said, the vibes were high at the beginning. And like I said, that's the first quarter and a half of football I had watched all year. I was like, holy cow, am I having fun? Like I picture myself. Am I dreaming? Like what is long touchdown drives? Holy cow, a 60-yard bomb from Russell Wilson. What world is this? Like, am I in an interdimension? Like, what the hell am I watching? And then reality just hit me like a brick wall. I'm like, oh, yep, this is the team I've been watching for the last 7 years since Peyton retired. So yeah, it hit me like a damn train.
Nico, I'm sorry about that. And this has been a little somber episode here at Moments here at this 0-2. And then we got Brian over there yapping away about his team there once in a while, coming up positive with it. And then Terrell keeping it nice and cool. 2-0. Sam Howell there.
Sam Howell looks good. Sam Howell looks good. I'll tell you that.
He does.
I don't know what team that is on his hat though. I don't know who that is. Like I don't recognize that team. We played the Commanders this week. I'm not sure what that logo's from. Maybe it's your secondary basketball team because the Lakers are ass. I'm not sure, but I don't recognize that logo. I know we lost the Commanders. So.
He's going at it because the Lakers. Terrell's being kind out with her. Hey, real quick question of the week. I got to get our sponsor in here, Row One Brand. Then we'll get to some other games, and we can go wherever the hell you guys want with the episode tonight with it. Question of the week here. I got to go with it. Just the first. Just give me a quick one here. What running back? What would be your running back all time? If you had to pick one guy, who is it that you're rolling with? One running back, your favorite one. It could be the best one, just the guy you're taking there. Terrell, who you taking? Easy pick for you?
Easy. That's easy as hell, yo.
All right, let me get it.
It's not fantasy or nothing like that.
No,
right?
Just all time. Who you taking?
It's Barry Sanders, who just got his statue erected today in Detroit. It's Barry Sanders. And the statue, he's like this, juking on everybody. That's what it's all about, baby. Barry Sanders, the GOAT running back ever, even though I did meet Emmitt Smith with my wife, and he was cool. As a Redskin fan, Emmitt Smith was cool. But Barry Sanders is the GOAT. All right.
I can respect that. What do you got, Jimmy?
I love Barry, and I have no problem saying that he is all of that. I personally, because I like the contact and I like the toughness, Walter Payton. Because Walter Payton was 185 pounds. He was going out there running as hard as possible. I love I love the football life on him where they talk about his hill and how LaDainian Tomlinson had a hill built in his house. I was like, it's old school. It's grit and grime. And
this dude said Adrian Peterson.
Adrian Peterson is the best one I've maybe
of all
seen
time
in my lifetime. Maybe outside LT, like running back, he could be right there in the debate.
Okay.
That was actually my son.
And we're gonna go from Sweetness to Adrian Peterson.
No, I'm saying in my lifetime. I wasn't alive. I didn't get to watch Walter.
I didn't get to watch Walter Payton either. I would rather watch hours of Walter Payton highlights than get to go meet Adrian Peterson in person.
Damn.
I just
I
don't know.
mean,
I'm part of me is afraid he's gonna make me go pick my Switch. That's part of why I don't want to go meet Adrian Peterson, because he's gonna see this on the internet and go, you know what? Let's go outside. We have to work out some things. And I'm gonna be like, shit.
Your running back's gonna beat up women. I ain't gonna do it again.
We already had that. We already had that conversation.
Nico, I think you sensed it coming there when Jimmy thought when he saw Adrian Peterson. I could see your face already.
His girlfriend's a Vikings fan, so
I know. That's why.
That's who.
I'm telling you right now, she couldn't name 5 other running backs. I promise you that, unless they're on her fantasy football team. So let's probably
He doesn't play fantasy football.
Exactly.
Hey, who you got, Nico? Who you taking?
Well, like, all time, like I'm a sucker for Jim Brown. I obviously I played lacrosse, grew up playing lacrosse, and the effect he had on football and lacrosse is something that I'll just always love. So like Jim Brown for me is like a guy that I just put above and away. People
UFC commentator also, by the way.
Exactly. I love if I'm speaking for the Broncos, I love TD. Like I said, I never watched TD and I never watched Jim Brown. So like if I were to pick someone I watched that I enjoyed watching the most, I might go Derrick Henry. That's and look, I'm not picking best of all time. I'm picking guy that I loved watching. That's
I love watching too, though.
I love watching Derrick Henry run the football. But all time for me, it's still Jim Brown.
Can I say the one that I liked watching the most when I could? Was Steven Jackson. I don't know what it was, but when Steven Jackson was running out there in St. Louis, cover up. That's fine, cover up. He was the power back of the 2000s.
We say Steven Jackson.
Yeah, of course.
He's a beast. Yeah. Oregon State running back there.
I've already alienated myself from Terrell's fan base. I'm sure that they're begging him to get somebody else to come on Fridays. They're like, please don't bring back the guy. He said Tunyon.
Tyler, where you at? Tyler, where you at? This guy said Tunyon and Steven Jackson.
Hey, I actually don't mind Steven Jackson. Brian, you got Garrison Hurst. Who are you going with? That all-time running back?
No, I'm going with LaDainian Tomlinson. The guy was just a beast.
I can't debate with LT.
Against the Patriots one year, he played with a torn MCL, and he freaking ran through everybody. I mean, he's been the fantasy football guy or the regular guy. He's been a beast.
Yeah, no, he was a beast. Emmitt Smith. I mean, I think we're all leaving him out because he's a Cowboy. Is that brother? And he wasn't the flashiest guy of all time.
Who did you say?
Huh?
Who did you
Emmitt
say?
Smith.
I know. Brian said LT. I said Emmitt Smith. I said Emmitt Smith there. Hey, as we get through question of the week here, we got to get towards the third quarter here in the pod. I'm going to move through some of the games here. You guys comment as we go through it. We'll kind of move through it a little quicker here as we kind of got some of the other games to touch on. Colts running back here, he's out with a concussion. They end up beating the Texans, though. Jimmy, we kind of mentioned last week on the show how he got hurt right away there, with that running play late in the end of the game when he got hurt there last week. And then he's already hurt this week after he runs for 2 touchdowns. Minshew does come in, able to steady the Colts win there. Any thoughts there on the Colts there real quick, Jimmy?
It's seeming to me like we probably should have started off the season with Minshew at quarterback and done what every other team in the NFL does and lets the guy sit behind and build up the excitement before you put the rookie out there, because we all knew this Colts team was going to suck. Why shouldn't they suck with Minshew and not take any of the shine off Anthony Richardson? Don't start getting his brain knocked around this early on in his career. He's not going to do anything for you in the long term if you continually beat his ass down. And that's what they're doing right now. So I honestly don't know if I agree. Obviously, I very rarely agree with Jim Irsay, but that just seemed like it was a dumb decision, and I'm not quite sure what the rationale was behind it, because now your first round pick is out. What are you doing about that?
Yeah, John too.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I'm the guy. We took Trey Lance. It didn't work out, but we maybe should have went with him at the beginning. We didn't go with him, and it made it seem like he wasn't the guy. And
Probably
you
because
just
he's only
can't.
played 10 games since high school.
Yeah, he had
But I'm just saying the point is that if you think this quarterback is the guy, you have to go with him no matter what. You can't just go, oh, we're gonna sidewind and go with Jimmy G or go with somebody else. I mean,
that's
I'm
a
just
good
being
that's,
honest.
yeah, that's a good point because I think the whole Trey Lance thing like scared everybody, right? I think it really did because like you take a quarterback that high, you let him sit, and all of a sudden your backup does well. Obviously, San Francisco and Indianapolis are two completely different situations, but at the same time, like say the Colts start Gardner Minshew for all 17 games, right? They're easily the top 5 worst team in the league. There's 3 quarterbacks.
Are they going to be better with Richardson?
I'm just saying in general. Your top three team, or top five in the draft, and you get one of Drake May, Shador Sanders, and probably Caleb Williams possibly there. And then the conversations bring up. You have to see what Anthony Richardson's about. And look, it's obviously very unfortunate that he got hurt already. But like Trey Lance scared the shit out of everyone, being like, "Oh fuck!" Like if the Colts do start winning and things with Gardner and things turn around, then all the conversations start coming up. Well, is this a mistake? Is this a whatever? When you're this bad, this losing this badly, and look, Gardner Minshew is not a guy that is like, oh, Alex Smith, perfect. Patrick Mahomes can watch him. Oh, Aaron Rodgers, watch Jordan Love watching him. It's fucking Gardner Minshew. It's not like, look, I love the stash.
I want Anthony Richardson to be entertained. Let's watch Uncle Rick go out there for a couple weeks.
I'll have to be
There's no
honest.
mentoring going on, is all I'm going to say. Just throw him to the wolves.
I was at an Applebee's and Tyler called it. He just said, like, if we're so much about Trey Lance, like, why are we starting Jimmy G against the Titans? And he called it. Tyler was right. And
wow, what a compliment you're giving to John. Yeah, the most interesting part of that story to me is that you guys were at an Applebee's together. That's the part to me that was the most fascinating about that story right there. Hey, Terrell, let me get your thoughts on this game real quick. The Falcons and the Packers. Yeah, we were just mentioning Brian. Put him in. Well, this guy, Mr. Love, hasn't played for a couple years, and he's he looked okay there in the first game. They had the lead here, 24-12. Terrell against the Falcons. They let that lead go. What do you make of anything you make of the Falcons 2-0 start, or the Packers? They look a little better than you think. What do you got to make of this game?
I mean, it's kind of like I look at when teams are 0-2 and 2-0. The Bengals are 0-2, and I feel like they still got hope. If Kansas City would have lost, I would have still said the same thing. Teams that are 2-0 that look good, the Eagles, they don't look good. Yep. They can't be happy about the way they're looking. Same thing about the Falcons. Are you really happy? Yeah, you're 2-0. Great job. But Desmond Ritter's not on your mind as you go to sleep at night. Are you serious?
Really? They're happy watching Bijan Robinson run the ball. I'll tell you that. They are licking their chops every time someone touches the ball.
But you're thinking about how I can use other pieces instead of Ritter. I mean, that's what you're doing right now, and they're 2-0.
Yeah, feels like they ran the anti-Jimmy offense. Like, we're gonna run the ball. We're gonna run the ball. We're gonna run the ball like we did with Jimmy. Jimmy is another Ritter.
Hey, like he said, Brian, though, he's 2-0, happy like you are. Go ahead, Terrell, real quick.
Green Bay's 1-1. The rest of the division is either 1-1 or 0-2. Right? Yeah. Green Bay's feeling good, like we're not completely healthy at all. We're missing Aaron Jones. We're missing Christian Watson. We're missing our star players on offense, and we could be 2-0 in a division that's winnable right now.
Yeah, you could be 0-2 in the Bears, and you lost to the Bucks. Right now.
Yeah, we're gonna get it. The thing too is, like you said, like John said, 2-0 is 2-0 at the end of the day. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter how you get there. Nico, let me ask you this real quick. If I had to word it to you like this, do you believe more in the Falcons after coming back to beat the Green Bay, or do you believe in the Giants after coming back by 21 to beat the Cardinals? Just curious, if I had to word it to you like that,
I'm easily going the Falcons because the Giants play in a much tougher division. And like I said, the Falcons have, like I said, a lot of people, not myself, we're picking them to win their division. Like that's a very easy, not easy, but like winnable division in my mind. And they have a lot of young talent. And like if you're looking at the Falcons across the board, you're like, okay, they can do this. I was like, they can do that. Giants, Saquon Barkley, if he's down for however long with this ankle injury, they're so dead. Like I said, Jimmy, can we name a Giants receiver still? No, I still can't. Exactly.
Kadarius Toney was the last one I could name,
exactly.
and he's not there
we
anymore.
Still can't name a receiver that the Giants have on their team. So like I said, look, the defense is good, but the fact you let up 60 points in a row in a game and a half span, that's enough for me to be like, yeah, this team is just not enough. The Cardinals are just that bad. So
was Josh Dobbs quarterback for the Cardinals today? I didn't even that game never made it to my TV screen, so I have no idea.
I think it was Dobbs was the quarterback for
I believe in the Falcons a lot more. I'll tell you that.
I guess I'm crazy for saying so Jimmy, you had the Giants earlier in the year going to the NFC Championship game. I think that's maybe where you had them, maybe. But do you think so? With that being said, are you already throwing in the towel on the Giants? Or are you gonna believe in them a little?
Damn towel! I got the Rocky poster behind. Throw the towel. Clubber's getting his ass kicked by Drago over here. Please just take me out of my misery. My NFC Championship pick was wrong. There is no way. No.
I'm his co-host, and I don't understand how he picked the Giants.
You're playing Incorporated on Thursday, and they're going to embarrass them.
Just
they
throw
will
the
definitely
damn
embarrass
towel.
Them that
Just get everybody out of there. Just it's so bad. I feel like Sylvester Stallone needs to make some video where he's just driving around in a Shelby Mustang to 80s music. We're not indestructible. But the Giants are very indestructible. They are awful. Yes, please. I'm so put it out on Freezing Cold Takes now that Jimmy Pilato said on whatever episode of Far End of the Bench that was that the Giants are going to go to the Super Bowl because it ain't happening. I pull my whatever you guys want me to. That was awful.
I don't remember you saying that, if I'll be honest with you.
No, I said it on this show. I guess I said it on this show. Preseason Talking the Gridiron. Jimmy Pilato on the preseason Talking revoked my license to talk about football. I don't know what to tell you guys. That was awful.
I have to give you. We'll wait till week 1 next week to make our picks for this. We'll give ourselves a week. Be a little kinder with each other in that regard. With it, Terrell, you got something else on this game, Falcons wise at all, or Bijan? What do you think of him, real quick? Are the Falcons not giving him the ball enough? Are they not giving him the ball enough? Yeah. Yeah,
my fantasy team says otherwise. Is all I'm gonna say. I love all the touches he's getting and all the points that I'm racking up. So I'm not upset.
When Desmond Ridder makes a play, Desmond Ridder scored a QB touchdown or not. It's because everybody's looking at Desmond Ridder like you should give him the ball. That's why. And the more he throws it to Drake London and Kyle Pitts, it's gonna help Desmond Ridder. So maybe the coach really does know he's figuring it out. Maybe that's what he's figuring out. My quarterback sucks, but I can showcase other people and kind of sneak around. It might be a good thing.
I remember.
I like Dirty Birds. Audio Falcon Mind, Dirty Birds, baby. Let's go.
I remember a team that Arthur Smith was the offensive coordinator for that had a pretty shitty quarterback that just ran the fuck out of the ball and got to an AFC championship in the Tennessee Titans. So I'm gonna say it's very doable.
Gambling runs in that family. His dad won his share in whatever company that he has. He put all his money down on some roulette wheel and ended up winning a good chunk of the money that paid for whatever company that his dad owns. Arthur Smith doesn't have to be coaching in the NFL. He's the trust fund baby. He's doing this by choice.
Does it for the love. And the Falcons fans are loving it up 2-0. I know John and all them out in the Falcon mind. I know they're loving every part of it. What he's got here, 19 for 124 and 4 catches for Bijan. He is the real deal. He does look absolutely legit there. Hey, no, you said suck there, Terrell. How about the Bears? They suck, right? I feel like they've looked really bad. Wow. And a team we thought was going to suck, the Buccaneers, they've kind of showed a little life, a little record-wise here. Mike Evans looked like Mike Evans today a little bit. I don't know. What do you guys think? Make anything of the – I guess I'll just word it to you like this quickly. Is it you have more confidence in the Bucs to continue this, or more confidence in the Bears that they can get any type of are they done on? Because even when we say they're done, these teams do bounce back once in a while. I don't know. Are we still saying that the Bears or the Bucs are going to finish with a better record? What do you think there, Jimmy?
I'm encouraged by what the Bucs have done, and their division is one where they can continue to look the way that they did, and they'll still be right in the hunt for the division. I think I've seen I don't know. I can't remember what receiver was on what it was. I think it was the McAfee show he said, and they were talking about how Baker's so smart. He can identify defenses. It's probably just all smoke screens and everything like that. But the Bears are bad. They're worse than I was anticipating. I picked them second in that division, and that's another one that I am actually really regretting at this point because Justin Fields won't throw the ball. He's got guys open 20 yards down the field, and he just won't throw the. He'd rather run. He'd rather get pulled down for a 3-4 yard game than actually try and push the ball down the field like a quarterback would. So I have no faith in that the Bears are going to get any better out of this. I don't see this turning around because they've put so much into Justin Fields' legs that he now believes that he can't throw the ball, is what it seems like to me.
I had them getting the last spot in the wild card. That's where I had them getting as well, Brian. I think you had them in the last spot as well when we did our picks.
No, I had them win the division.
That's right. So, okay. Yeah, so you had them win the division. I had them winning the picks. I was trying to save you a little bit, giving you the 7th pick around over there with them. But Nico, what do you think of that real quick with the what do you think it's either the Bucs you think the Bucs will have a better year? I think the Bears can kind of bounce back and have maybe a better finish in the Bucs here?
I'll reiterate what I said with the Falcons. It's a winnable division. It absolutely is a winnable division. And look, Baker Mayfield is a quarterback that's won a playoff game. Let's not forget about that on the road too. He got washed to the side in Cleveland. And yes, he was not very good in Los Angeles last year. But look, the guy was the number 1 overall pick.
So is this comeback Baker, Nico? Is this comeback?
I'm not saying it's a full comeback Baker, but I am saying that the guy has some nuts on him. Is all I'm going to say. He has some nuts, and
he grabbed those nuts during one of his college games, if I remember correctly.
He still does it every week on the sideline. I will say though that look, the Bears have just done nothing to help. Well, they try to help him with getting receivers. Getting Deja Moore, I think, helped big time, but that offensive line still just is not giving him much time. And look, helping young quarterbacks, what's the best thing possible to do for them? Get them a running game. Give them a running game. Give them a running game. They got rid of Montgomery. They don't have anything going for them in the backfield right now. If they had some sort of resemblance of a running game, then they could get Justin Fields and open with some more time in the pocket. But right now, they're just every single defender is just teeing off on this battle line and little running game that they have. So, and like I said, look, the Bears. The biggest game in Bears' recent history was that Week 1 game against the Packers. Like they thought this is our time to shine. Like we have a chance.
That's sad.
I'm not wrong. It's the biggest game since probably when they lost the Super Bowl against Peyton Manning back in whatever year it was. But like I said, that's how sad it was. They felt like it's their time, and Jordan Love punked you and said, "Nope, it's still Packers division. You're still the little."
I still own you. So, I still own you.
The Bears to me when you said no offensive line though, Terrell, that could be like also when the quarterback tries to roll out too quickly too. That could be like sometimes that plays a factor in those things with that as well. Terrell, what do you think of the Eagles here, real quick? I don't want to spend too much on Thursday night in the game itself, but I just real quick, what do you make of that? Like of them off. Some people are like, it's a slow start. You kind of mentioned it a little bit here, but even though they're 2-0, him and Hurts kind of look like they had a little bit of a fiery exchange there on the sideline a little bit with it. I thought maybe it's just talk show stuff. To me, it's just like they look absolutely fine. Like I don't understand the big deal. Are you concerned at all? Like we said, kind of about the Bills a little bit at the beginning of the show, or are they just they're fine to you?
No, they're not fine. Exactly.
No.
As a Washington fan, I'm happy about all their little arguing on the sidelines and things. We watched the first game. I said it on my show a couple of weeks ago, Week 1. I said the biggest upset of the week is going to be the Patriots are going to beat the Eagles, and they were that close to doing it. Because of the things that I mentioned, watching this game, a team that they destroyed last year, Kirk Cousins on prime time with a big, good record and everything else, shot the bed. And then this game, Kirk Cousins was a man doing things. The Eagles losing coordinators and losing defensive players. I'm just saying, Swift looked good because Minnesota's defense is not good against the run. So keep riding Swift. They have issues. In Dallas, they play their game right. Or if Sam Howell takes another step in the next couple of weeks, it's scary for the Eagles.
Yeah. And Dallas, we didn't even mention them. They beat the Jets, obviously, today. Jimmy as well to go 40. I think that they went 30-10 to go 2-0 up on them, and they continue to look good there. What do you think? Are you kind of on the same boat with the Eagles, or are you a little bit more confident?
No, I think today I was more confident on Friday when I was talking with Terrell on his show and what the Eagles did. now after today with two other teams getting wins in your division, yeah, I'm looking over my shoulder because we still don't look. The Eagles aren't a team that's going to look at themselves and go, "Oh, we're good, we're totally fine." Yeah, we scored 25 points the first week and beat the Vikings by 6 in the second week. We're good. No, they know that they're not good. They should be looking over their shoulder, but they have to worry about themselves first. Like get their offense and their communication on both sides of the ball figured out. Get guys back healthy. If you aren't able to get guys back on your defense, and if your offensive coordinator doesn't gel with your quarterback, you're not going to repeat what you did last season. And the other teams in your division aren't giving you that grace period. So yeah, I'm nervous if I'm an Eagles fan right now, or if I'm a player on the Eagles roster.
Nico, they shouldn't be worried about Carter, their defensive tackle. He looks like an absolute savage there. He's getting a lot of pressure early for them. We'll see if he can sustain it. What do you think?
I'm not on the Eagles panic bandwagon. The only people who should be panicking is Philadelphians because they're the worst fan base in all sports and they overreact over everything. So look. I'm not. I know. I'm not wrong. I know. We've been over the show many times. But like I said, with this Eagles team, like I saw glimpses of like the running game and this offensive line that's still the best in football. Like, look, it's things that you can do in the early weeks of the season. Eagles fans are like, you know what? Like these are 2 ugly wins, but they're wins. They're wins still. You still won those 2 games. That's the problem. Yeah, they have these problems, but it's a lot easier to fix things when you're winning football games than when you're losing them. That's Jimmy. That's Jimmy with the 0-2 Bengals. It's a lot more fun being like, we got to fix this, we got to fix that when you're winning, as opposed to when you're losing. So, and like I said, you have 2 wins. And look, the Cowboys look very, very good. There's zero denies about it.
Yeah.
Giants, who knows? Redskins / Commanders, whatever the hell Terrell thinks they are. Like maybe there's something too. But in my opinion, they're still their conference to lose. So, like I said, you can figure the things out on the road. And AJ, as long as you get and Sirianni gets those boys dialed into the fact that, like, look, all that matters is winning. Like, look, don't get as many touches. You run into a situation with the Jets where Breece Hall and Sauce Gardner are deactivating their Twitter accounts because they're not getting touches and they're getting cooked. Like if you can keep that in the locker and be like, you know what? Yeah, you didn't get your touches this week. This week it was Devontae Smith's turn. Next week can be yours. Yeah, it didn't work out for you. That's the mindset they can have, and they're so talented, like I said, across the defensive board that I think that's very, very easy to fix everything and still keep winning.
Brian, you got an update for Sunday night real quick? Are you there? Are you watching the game? You got an update for me?
Yeah, the Patriots are making it interesting. They scored a touchdown, and they just got an interception off Tua, so it's
17-10.
Mac Jones just got sacked for a big loss, so
if you're tuning here, talking the gridiron here, we got Nico, we got Jimmy from Far End of the Bench, we got Brian, I got Terrell from Rellism Sports. Junior, that's on a big show here, talking the gridiron. 3rd and 20 here, about 9:53 left in the fourth quarter here. Hey, as we kind of get to the end of the show here, Brian, real quick, we were kind of talked about your Niners already a lot, but Purdy only threw for 206. They did give up a 15 catch performance today. Stafford does look a lot better this year. That's the one thing to me I'm noticing the most like a Rams, and you probably at least noticed it today, Brian, is Stafford looks like he looks like himself again. Like last year, it wasn't you guys like playing defense against him. It wasn't the same. Like this year, he was getting rid of the ball quick. Like Stafford looks like he's going to be at least a problem in the NFC West again. What do you guys think of that, Jimmy? You think Stafford?
Yeah, he brought.
Oh, sorry, Brian. Let me go with Jimmy first there. What do you think, Jimmy, at that Stafford? Do you look back a little bit?
I think that he's good. Like he's been better than he was last season. He's obviously healthier than he was the season before. It is still going to be a fight for them. They're going to have to play because all of the capital that they gave up, they weren't able to reload after that Super Bowl season. This is going to be the first upcoming season, if they don't make some sort of move, that they're going to have a first-round pick since they gave all their first-round picks for however long. So the Rams, they need big plays out of veteran guys. And how long is that going to last? Those are my 2 questions for the Rams. But so far this season, yeah, they look a lot better than they did the year before. They were close. If they didn't have those mistakes towards the end of the game, they probably are making the Niners sweat a little bit more than they did. But for now, I think it's good for this part of the season. Am I expecting sustained success? No. I think that the Rams are probably going to run out of steam here shortly.
Brian, I know you called him dead arm Stafford. That's what I guess I want to know. Does he still look like dead arm Stafford? Or he look a little bit better today for you?
he did look better, but I'm just saying that at the end of the day, the cream comes to the crest, and yeah, I'm just saying the Niners are the best team in the NFC West, and you can't.
That one that's a short right there. If that's what Shanahan says, like whatever gets him motivated to go to the top of it. I love that. That's one of my favorite ones of all time. Johnson there. Hey Nico, what do you think of our Monday night double headers? Are you a fan of the double
They're
headers
disgusting.
here?
The 2 games
We got another one next week. I saw too. They have another one.
Well, first, look, these 2 games, in my opinion, are just absolutely hideous. First of all, like I said, look, New Orleans versus Carolina. Yeah, because let me just pull up ESPN for that one, because that sounds like a lot of fun. And then what was the other one? Pittsburgh and Cleveland. That nothing I love more than watching 2 teams Jimmy hates and enjoy those games. Look, I don't mind double headers. It's better for us on the West Coast, because, like I said, it's watch more football all night. It's unfortunate for those who have girlfriends or wives or whatever. Sorry, there's 2 games a night. We're watching both of them, so that's the unfortunate part. But both the games are interesting in multiple ways. Obviously, Bryce Young getting a chance to see what he's made of on national television, and then Cleveland, Pittsburgh are right now the two teams that feel like they have a chance to win this division. Obviously what the Bengals did, and then what the Ravens have done so far makes you think that this division can come down to the last weekend of the year. So these early games could bite you in the ass or help you big time at the end of the season. So it's going to be 2 competitive games. I hope. I'm obviously more eyes on the Cleveland versus Pittsburgh game, but should be 2 good games.
Oh, Terrell, what do you? I mean, on the East Coast, right? You're out there. Do you like this at the 2 double headers like there, like where you get the 7 o'clock start and then you get one at 8? Does that make a difference for you on the East Coast, like at all?
Yeah, because I want to watch both games. Put one of them shits on Friday or Saturday or something. You know what I'm saying? I want to watch everything. Yeah. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Both games are dope though. I got invested interest in everything, and there's big time storylines on both of them. You know what I mean? If the Saints win with Derek Carr leading them to go 2-0 in that division, and then you see Cleveland with Rubby Deshaun Watson winning on the road in Pittsburgh and going 2-0 in that division, with Cincinnati 0-2 and Baltimore 2-0 but look suspect. These are huge moments for Cincinnati to be 2-0 with everything else going in that division, and then Derek Carr coming back with the Saints to battle Baker Mayfield being 2-0. I love it.
Bryce Young, good old Bryce Young. It's Derek Carr versus Bryce Young matchup. Bryce Young. Bryce Young. I did not think about that if Cleveland wins here 2-0, 2 teams 2-0, that in their division, it's tough, Jimmy. It's tough.
I'm not liking it. I don't like it. I also picked the Browns because you know my feelings about the Steelers, so that's who I am hoping pulls it out. I still don't want to see the Steelers win. Whether that's better for the Bengals or not, I don't really.
Pull it out, Jimmy. I can pull it out.
He's got experience. He's got experience doing such things.
Does he have experience pulling it out? That's
I feel like there would be other allegations if he didn't have experience pulling it out for what he. I shouldn't be saying this. I should probably just keep my mouth shut at this point.
Oh no, that's nasty.
I thought it was funny with Derek Carr last week. They won by 1 point, and then Jimmy G wins by 1 point last week. I just thought it was kind of funny that they subs down. They both won by 1 point in a low-scoring game. That Monday night game too. It's the first. That first one, if New Orleans wins though, Terrell, that's 3 teams in that division that are 2-0. So that's pretty crazy to think about. That you have that would be the case there. I know John, of course, he's rooting for his Falcons and rooting for the Saints to get a big loss tomorrow. The Cleveland one, that one kind of is interesting to me. I'm looking for Chubb. I want to see how he's going to do against that defense against the Steelers. For me, that's always a big matchup if he can go against them. All right, say as we get kind of very near the end here, a little look ahead to week 3, just some of the games that I thought that maybe I could point out that you guys might think pretty good here. Like I said, Giants, Niners, not really does it for me on Thursday night at all. To me, the best games of next week. The one that to me stands out the most a little bit is for some reason the one that intrigues me a little bit is the Saints Green Bay game. And then also The other game that Terrell is Buffalo at Washington. That one also kind of intrigues me now because if they get a win at home, they'll get Buffalo. I mean, and we were just saying how Buffalo we don't know at times, so that's also kind of one that kind of is a little bit interesting.
That's
to me.
big time storyline.
That's a little bit of a big time storyline. I'll give you that. Yes. And then, it is a little bit of a big time storyline. And then Atlanta at Detroit. Detroit, you can't lose. You cannot lose 2 at home. And everybody saying at the beginning of the year, you're one of the better teams, and then you lose 2 in a row at home. That cannot happen. You need to beat the Falcons.
Atlanta 3-0. That's a chokehold on the division.
Atlanta 3-0 is huge.
Oh yeah, that would be a massive win for them if they got.
We're never gonna get Adi Fagumain to shut up if they're 3-0. They'll be like Brian. They'll come on this show next week, and John will just talk the entire time.
We'll get him on there. We'll just cut him off the whole time. Especially when you get a little liquid courage, Jimmy. That always helps you talk even more. We know that. We know that.
All that does is make me have to go to the bathroom.
Yeah, exactly. A little bathroom break. Jimmy. A little bathroom break was the key. So yeah, those are a couple ones that kind of stood out to me a little bit. Like kind of go to the Sunday night game is Steelers at Las Vegas. That's the Sunday night game, and then the Monday night games. Like I said, there's another doubleheader. You have Philadelphia at Tampa Bay, and then you have the Rams at Jimmy Pilatos Cincinnati Bengals for Week 3. So those are your Monday night games.
Tampa Bay over Philadelphia. Same thing with Atlanta. If Tampa Bay could go 3-0 and Philadelphia lose, if the Lions lost, that's the same scenario.
Could you imagine the Baker Potato hype if he goes 3-0 after Eagles win like that? That would be – come on, Nico. Everybody be loving that.
I love it.
Just for the update, the Dolphins scored, by the way, so now it's a 14-point game, 3/4 of the way left in the game.
I'm going to win my parlays. Y'all better watch the shows because I'll be giving away money, yo. I'll be all my parlays tonight. Jimmy, we did a lot, Jimmy. We did a lot.
We did.
I've been crushed the first 2 weeks for not playing Mostert for the Dolphins, just being absolutely crushed for those ones. So I'm going to be another 2 touchdowns a day for Mostert there with it. The Patriots, Nico, is this the end for Belichick? Is this the end? Is this the end for him in back attack? Are they done? Are they done?
No,
do you think they would ever fire Belichick, Nico?
No, they will never. No, he'll be like, it's time to step away from the game of football, and it's going to be Bob Kraft saying, "Hey, Bill, just let your son be the head coach." He's like, "All right, go be the GM," and that's exactly how it'll go, guaranteed.
Oh, that would be scary for Patriots fans to see him, little Bill on the sideline there, little Bill there out there with doing it. I'm not sure my friend Adam, who's a Patriots fan, would enjoy that. I don't think he wants him out there with it. Hey, winner loser of the week. You guys got anybody that stands out? Team, player, announcer, incident, any winner or loser for the week? You got one, Terrell, that maybe sticks out? A winner of the week or a loser?
A winner of the week or a loser of the week?
Either one. You start us out. You can pick out whatever one stood out.
Loser of the week is all the fans of the New York Jets.
Oh, yeah, that's a tough one. Add a little bit.
We're so sorry. My organization never gets a quarterback. You got one, and he went away. I've dealt with that my whole life. So anyway.
4 plays in. Incredible. I was thinking of Jimmy's brother because he was talking about how he was rooting the Jets the day before. I was like, that sucks, man. 4 days in. Yeah, that's big. That is a loser because you have to watch Zach Wilson play football now.
With Nathaniel Hackett, an offensive coordinator.
Yes.
The creativity. We know how that goes. The
16 points, guaranteed. No more, no less. 16 points.
That's a good loser with it. Jimmy, you got a loser? Your Bengals?
Oh yeah. No, they're losers. 110%. They're losers right now. Yeah. Man. I'll say specifically that offensive line. I know that they're going to get better, but at this point, like they were supposed to come in and be better already because they have some pieces that were already together. Like Capo's coming back. He had a penalty today. Karras hasn't looked great at center. And then Orlando Brown Jr. is holding down that left side of the line. But like we got to get 5 guys going at once. We can't have 2 out of the 5 or 3 out of the 5. That's not how offensive line play works. So I'll say the Bengals offensive line, just because it's such a heavily invested position now, we need more out of them.
Yeah, no, and we talked about that before with the guy that moved to right tackle there. Well, you're the high draft pick with him and then getting Brown at left tackle. So that's a good call there. with the Bengals. And like you said, I think they can still make that run again. They did it last year, but right now, like, and you called it, man. To be honest, like you're the one that you worry about them not playing their guys in the preseason, and it really came back. You actually said you're like, I think they could go 0-2 because of this reason, and that it ended up coming true because so obviously you know your team in that regard.
I think they're 0-5 in preseason games right now. If you count the 3 preseason games that they played plus these 2 games, they're 0-5.
Well, thankfully 3 of them don't count. That's a key part for it. Nico, you got loser of the week at all?
Well, I was gonna say the Jets too, but I'm gonna go a little in division hatred, and you'll like
All
this. The Chargers, the Los Angeles Chargers, one of the biggest hype trains that everyone was saying Justin Herbert this, Justin Herbert that. 0-2, bad 1-score losses games again. Like I said, you can take the team out of San Diego, but you can take the San Diego out of the team. They will always lose 1-score games, and they will always fall when the game gets close, and the butt's gonna clench because the game's getting tight. So the Chargers are my big loser. Like I said, Titans team that look, it's been the same team for the last 5 years, basically. They've not really changed much. Yeah, they have D-Hop now, but it's not that much of a difference. And you put up a game that you had to come back to get to overtime. Like you should be winning these games if you really think you're that big of a contender. And look, I'll say this as well for Jimmy's Bengals. Like if the Bengals and Chargers really think that they're going to be contenders and getting themselves to the Super Bowl in Las Vegas this year, they can't lose games like they had the first 2 weeks. Absolutely. And that's why I think it's big. Look, because if you look at the other contenders, Chiefs fixed it this week. Right? The Chiefs fixed it this week. The Ravens have been good. Good teams fix things quickly and don't get yourself into holes where you're 0-2 and then you're backtracking because those 0-2 start, 0-3 start, whatever it may be at however long it goes, can hurt you when trying to win your division, hurt you and who you're going to play in the first round when you're trying to A, maybe avoid the Chiefs or B, avoid the Bills or whoever you're trying to face a Jaguars or somebody else. That's the things that the Chargers and the Bengals have to look at themselves, be like, we need to fix this and need to fix it fast, or this is going to get very, very bad.
And the Bengals, that's why next Monday night is a big game for them. That's in some ways, I'm sure, Jimmy, it feels like a season on the line kind of game. We can't go 0-3.
It's a Ring of Fame induction night. There's so much else going on with that game. Like at some point, you got to, you have the expectations. They've never shown up with their expectations, and this season was the best year that they were going to have under Zach Taylor. You start off 0-3 and you lose 2 games where you're the nationally televised game. All those old stories start to creep back in my head. I went through 23 years. Nico knows. During the 2016 playoff run when Vontaze Burfict had that whole incident with Antonio Brown, I almost had to take a week off of school. I was writing checks with my mouth that the Bengals could not cash. And I just, for that entire week of school afterwards, I had to deal with the Broncos, were the divisional champions. They had to buy that round, so they didn't even play. And the Bengals should have won their first fucking playoff game within 22 years at that point. And not happening. So I that's where if they lose next Monday, you're going to see a lot different Bengals fan come out of me because that's right where I used to be.
Yep, right. You're going to go back to the old. And okay, so basically, you went Jimmy. You went what Brian was tonight. You went that in high school against the Steelers. I can respect that. You went all full in on it there. And another thing too, I had losers. I had a couple of them. Sean Payton and the Broncos. Just because, like we said, 2 home games, you lose those. Raiders front 7. Bears, and I had Burrow's ankle issues. That's to me the loser of the week. Just anything particular. Just you hate to see him limping around like that. Winner of the week, Terrell. What do you got for winner of the week?
I'm gonna go with Deion Sanders because they're used to being the underdogs, and it's easy to hype your team up when you're underdogs. You know what I mean, to get that extra fire. But this week, they were called out. You were called out. You got a home game, primetime game. You're expected to win. And they bit back. Colorado State went back at them. But Prime came through in the clutch like he always did.
His 2 kids had
come away to win because every champion always has games where something lucky happened or a field goal here or something happened, the ball bounced your way. This was the ball bouncing their way this week with all the stuff going on, talking back and forth. I'm going to give Prime his love this week. Because it's not going to get no easier as we keep going, baby.
Jimmy, that's a good one. I was definitely thinking of you guys. Colorado State, Colorado, the nation's eyes on America's team over there. Ends at 11:30. You got people saying they're staying up till 2:30. Is it
12:30 here?
Yeah, it was a late night.
For you guys? Is it weird for you guys to see this? Like kind of thing with that?
It was as high as that game in Colorado.
Yeah.
Look, it's the most eyes ever on a Rocky Mountain Showdown. I had two older brothers that went to CU, so I watched the Cody Hawkins days. I watched those bad teams when they were halfway decent in the Big 12, but not a terrible team. And obviously last year after one win, like it's crazy. I don't know how long Deion Sanders will be at Colorado. That's obviously the overlaying question. But right now, this sets this program up for a long, long time. Like this little stint, however long it may be, maybe it's a long time, who knows, has set this program in Colorado on the map. And look, I come from a Colorado house, like a split household. My two parents went to CSU. My brothers went to CU. Obviously, I have a little more, so I have more ties to CU than CSU because my parents don't really love CSU. Like my brothers love CU, so I have my ties there. But and seeing the Buffs this prime time and seeing the Rock, seeing Kawhi Leonard, who doesn't even show up to his own basketball games, seeing Chauncey, seeing all these guys, all these like
Offset got interviewed during the first quarter
by the lacrosse guy. By the way, that guy announces lacrosse games on ESPN.
It sounds like it. He shouldn't do football very much.
No, he should not. And look, it is crazy to see like what he's done. And look, and it doesn't surprise me one bit. It does not surprise me one bit what he's done. How this team will look next week against Oregon, that's a big question. How the team will look in 2 weeks against USC at home will also be the big question. But like I said, you beat TCU, which TCU obviously isn't what it was last year. Nebraska, that's just a trash ass program. I don't even think about them. And then you beat. Look, it's a rivalry game. Yes. Anytime you play a rivalry game, it's always it's never going to be a blowout.
CSU averages 7 wins a season. They're always in a bowl game, more consistent.
It's a rivalry.
Exactly. So and Jay, look, all you want to say about Jay Norvell is like, look, he had those boys ready to play. And he continue to do that. He will. And look, I'm excited to see this rivalry continue to take form. But seeing my state and seeing two teams that I've watched for a lot of years being on the national stage with a whole country's eyes on them was pretty cool.
Yeah, Jimmy, what'd you make of like all the late hit talk and all that stuff too, as well as the game?
Yeah, no, I talked about it on my show. That's my winner of the week is just Colorado as a state in general, because all eyes were on us for the ESPN game. CSU was having commercials while millions of people were watching it. So that's great for the two schools. That's great for the state. As a coach in the community, it put on the map. There are guys from Colorado that can play here. But the bigger thing to me was that those guys that weren't from Colorado, all those guys on CSU, I don't know their names, but like Horton's not a Colorado guy. He was playing his ass off to win this rivalry. Yeah, he's damn good. Louis Riddick kept saying it. He's going to be on Sundays. Yeah, he's going to be in there on Sundays. That safety who did have the dirty, blatant cheap shot against Travis Hunter was not from Colorado, but was playing in the rivalry, trying to do something for his team. We've seen that a million times in college football. You don't play the ball. You play the receiver. You try and send the message. He did what he wanted to do. He got the penalty for it. I said it on my show earlier. If CSU could keep their composure just a little bit, they probably walk out of Folsom Field with a win. But you have 8 personal foul penalties in the first half. You have another 5 in the second half. Shadur figures your defense out in the second half because he's a smart guy. He's worked with Tom Brady. Like everything, as much as you could have as a CU fan, like I said this morning, wanted to see the blowout, the resilience that you saw on both sides, and the fact that Jay Norvell, Coach Prime, Deion Sanders was getting this thing as hyped as it was. It was the hottest ticket in town. It was the biggest game of the weekend for college football because there were no other ranked matchups, and it delivered. You had a great game out of it. Double overtime. CU walks away with the victory over a team that CSU always plays that rivalry tough. They were talking about it. The last time 2 teams met with one team ranked in the top 15, CSU won. Bradley Van Pelt beat the 2002 CU Buffaloes by himself as a Colorado State quarterback, and Fowler Nicolosi almost did that for CSU this year. Like the Rams were a step away, and the Rams are going to be a really good team moving forward. They played a Pac-12 team in Washington State that nobody gave any credit, and now the top 16 team in the country in CU, and lost 2 games. First game didn't look great. Second game looked better. Mountain West should be on notice for CSU.
And Kamara, I also like too for their team. I like even they got ejected for that hit. I thought
You got to start drinking water before the damn games. Nobody crams 8 times in 3 hours. That's ridiculous, dude.
This is the South down there. I have that's a good one for win of the week. Coach Prime, Colorado, eyes on it. It was very. As I was watching it last night, I was like, this is probably will never happen to this state again. Like where that happened like that last night. You have the Rock at the game. You have all the players there. It was just
kind of a SmackDown in Denver on Friday night. He was the guest speaker in Boulder on Saturday, and then hung out all day in Boulder, Colorado, to be at Coach Prime's game. The most famous movie star of our generation.
Crazy that you guys got that much hype there. For winners of the week, I had Richardson. Even though he got hurt, I still just like the fact he's showing something there as a quarterback, and I guarantee his teammates are loving him. Even though he's going out there and running the way he is. I got you already mentioned Dion, and then the NFC South. They're surprising me a little bit, so I got them for winner of the week as well. Gentlemen, as we get to the end here on Talking the Gridiron, Terrell, appreciate you jumping in. Obviously, you got your show over that Rellism Sports. Jimmy's been on. Nico's been on as well with that. I know Jimmy's been on the last 2 Fridays. I'm hoping to jump on this Friday with you as well. What do you got going on this week? You got anything else going on with the show?
Not with the show. I'm going to meet my family from Richmond.
All right.
That means more than anything to me. But next Friday, you're supposed to be on. Jimmy's supposed to be on. Brian's supposed to be on. It's supposed to be a bunch of people on this Friday. We're going to talk about fantasy. We're going to talk about week 3, week 2 fallout. I can't wait. I love having y'all on. Nico, the world champion Denver Nuggets. I'm going to give it to you one more time, baby. One more time, Nico. That's the last time you're going to get that shit. That's the last time.
Do you want me to get my broom? Like, have you not? You want me to get my broom? Get that broom for you. Get those nice, sweep that out. Like I said, season starts October 24th against your team, your sorry ass franchise. That's all I'm gonna say. And that banner is gonna go up. Well, I'll bring my broom to Ball Arena October 25th.
Nico, none of this matters because I hate LeBron James. I'm a Kobe Bryant guy.
Exactly. It's just a fair weather Laker fan like the rest of the
last time Kobe Bryant was in Denver, there was an investigation.
I know.
That's what we do, baby.
Nico, we had the pleasure of you jumping on halfway during the show here. Appreciate you taking time out of your evening to jump in with us. Hopefully you can do it again here with us on Talking the Gridiron. Appreciate you kind of giving us a different perspective on some of the teams, a little bit on Broncos too.
Anytime you look at any Broncos slander, I will join right there with you, buddy.
There you go. I like it.
But one thing I will never do is give your Raiders any sort of praise. So don't worry, buddy.
I can respect that. But yeah, no, appreciate you coming on, taking your time with it. You guys had a good show this week on Far End of the Bench. I enjoyed that one. You guys talking about the Week 1 games and all the shenanigans and your Premier League stuff. That was really cool, man. I was following that kind of along with you, so that was pretty awesome hearing some of the stories you're doing with that. Yep, there it is, the Redwoods there. There it is. Very cool. There it is. Jimmy, you did your Sunday scaries today as well during the game. You're staying busy with the pod game. That's another Talking Gridiron in the books, man. What else you got going on this week with Far End of the Bench?
Nico and I will be back Wednesday on YouTube, Thursday for the podcast. Rev and I are going to be back for D2 Talking the Gridiron. I'm wearing the Western Colorado hat because they had a huge victory in Pueblo, 30-14 over CSU Pueblo. They've announced themselves for the conference, so D2 football showing out. Eckler didn't get to play this week, but hopefully he'll be back down the road. And then more Sunday scaries coming up. But no, check out Nico and I. That whole Far End of the Bench has all 3 shows underneath. So you only have to go to one place. Subscribe Far End of the Bench YouTube. Subscribe to Variety Sports Network. Follow at FEOTB Pod. Check out all the content. It's there for free. We're giving it to you guys. We give you like 6 hours of content each week for free. It's there. Enjoy it. Just let us know what you think about it. Leave a 5-star rating and review. Like, subscribe, all that good stuff. But no, this is a great episode of Talking the Gridiron, and we have more great content coming up. The NFL season is just a content producing machine. I don't know what else to say.
It really is. And like I said, I enjoy doing the show with you guys. It was fun doing like a big panel here. Even when Brian's running his mouth like that, I enjoy having it. And like I said, I go back with Brian with 16, so we're like 23. So I can already tell when that man wins. And then next week when we see him, he might say 3 words the whole show. That might be the thing.
I'm hoping the Giants finally – I'll go back on my Giants take so fast if they beat the 49ers just for 1 week. I will not I'll find something that's 49ers colors. I'll wear it on the podcast, and I'll take over as Brian for the week. How about that?
Anyone that has a Brock Purdy jersey already, I think that's what he is wearing, is obviously the biggest diehard in the world. So good for Brian.
Right, Brian is he does live and die with it. You respect that with the football fans with it. Talking the gridiron, that's what we do here Sunday night. Hope to give you a platform to join. I appreciate anybody that commented in this week. We hope to see you next week, week 3 here on Variety Sports Network. For Nico Bryant, for Terrell from Rellism Sports, for Jimmy Pilato, I'm Daren Breyer from Fat Boy Fadeaway Sports. Peace.
Hey, this is Brandon, CEO of the Variety Sports Network. Thank you again for watching tonight's show. Best way you can support us is by hitting that subscribe button, that like button, and hitting the notifications so you don't miss out on the next